Hi everyone. It's been so long since I've been on here on live to connect with you guys and see you, well, sort of see you, paint with you at least. So yeah, today I'm excited to come on and have this little like family paint class today. It's gonna be fall Halloween theme today. Throughout this lesson, you are more than welcome to kind of like change the colors, add or take away something. It's like very open-ended, so feel free to just connect to your creative vibes and just roll with it, and I'm here to support you. So yeah, let me know you're here. I've posted a little bit about me coming live, but maybe some of you weren't aware, so don't worry. This is all recorded, so you don't have to, if you can't stay or maybe you missed this, it will be in the video section. So no worries if you can't stay because it is recorded. So yeah, let me know if you're here, say hi, maybe say where you're from. I miss coming on to see everybody. I just have a background fall music on YouTube, so don't mind the ad, I'll change it. YouTube really likes to have all their ads. Alright, so you might be wondering what we're painting, so in case you missed it, we're just doing a fall Halloween themed painting, base for all levels, beginners, for families, for kids, all of that, so don't worry. So I'm just going to turn this camera. So yeah, as some of you may know, I had a baby back in July, and at some point when she wakes up, hubby might bring her up to say hello, so we shall see. I don't want to wake the sleeping baby. So our paint colors today that you're going to need are the primary colors. So we have white, blue, yellow, red, and black. And then I'm using like a bigger brush, kind of like a medium to a small. Just a variety of brushes is always great to have. And if you have a pencil, you could use a pencil too if you like. If not, we can just paint it in as well. And then make sure you have a glass of water or a cup of water. I'm using an 8x10 canvas here. It can be any size. Okay? And we're just going to go for it. I'm just going to kind of show you as we go. I don't have a preset sample. So just trust and follow along with me, and I'll lead you step by step. Okay? Nice to see you too. Yeah, it's been so long. I've been wanting to do a spontaneous pop-up live for like ever, and it just hasn't worked out, you know, just having a baby. She's 11 weeks old now, so it's getting a little easier now. I can like kind of plan a little bit of stuff, but yeah, it feels good to get back into that creativity. All right, so yeah, there's a little bit of a shadow. We did renovations back throughout this year as well, so I don't have my blinds up yet, so hopefully this doesn't interfere too much with our painting today. But yeah, it's been a long haul, and all the renos are done too, so I'm just excited to get back into it. So I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. Let's get into painting. So I have my large brush I'm going to use first. I'm going to wet it, and then I'm going to tap it on my napkin just to get out the extra water. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to dip into white, and I have a fair bit on my brush on both sides, and I'm going to cover this whole canvas with white. Okay, we're just priming that canvas. So it really helps to, if you have a thinner canvas, putting some white on will help give the paint something a little bit more to stick to, and I find it makes the colors more vibrant and helps with blending. So just in case you're wondering, why are we painting a canvas white that's already white? Okay, so I'm going to turn down this volume. There. Oh, it's been so long. That little rocky. Okay, so I'm going to cover this whole canvas with white. And I'm dipping, as you see, a fair bit. So I've kind of done a little bit back and forth, dipping again. This is an 8x10 canvas. You can use any size. I mean, if you do have a bigger one, it will take you a little longer, of course. And if you have a smaller one, then you might already be done. So basically when you're doing this, you're gonna look for like the shiny areas. That's how you know you're coating it. As well as if you see any like clumps or bigger lumps of this paint thicker, just go back and forth on it to blend it in a little bit more. Okay. Oh, we got 4 people on. Hello. So nice to be on again. Hope everybody had a great summer. So in case you're just tuning in, we're doing a fall/Halloween themed painting today that I'm just leading you through spontaneously here. And yeah, it's all levels geared towards like families and kids. So, and next month I will be doing another one. I'm making a flyer that I'm going to share, but you can save the date now. It's for November the 3rd, and I'm going to go live, and that one's going to be more of a winter themed one, and it'll be related towards more of adults. So, but again, these can be done by anyone because you can always pause. Hi. All right, so we got that coated with white. So now my vision, I'll tell you about it. So I'm thinking like a moon, a ghost, some like cute leaves floating around for fall, and a pumpkin. So that's what I'm piecing together here onto this 8x10 canvas. So I'm gonna actually dip into yellow. So I didn't clean my brush just because this is wet with white and there's no point. So we can just dip right into that yellow. I'm gonna put my moon, so you can either off center it where it kind of curves, or you can make it a complete full moon. So I'm gonna do mine like this. So I have a corner, I'm on my left side of the corner, and I'm just going to choose a spot and make like a nice moon here. Okay, so I'm gonna curve that up, and then I'm just gonna fill that in with yellow to start. It's gonna be very bright, but I'm gonna like kind of darken it as we go. First, we'll just start with yellow. Okay. And just let me know if you have any questions along the way. And let me know if you need me to repeat any colors or steps. Just in case you're just tuning in now. But it is recorded, so don't worry. You can watch it later when I'm done. Once you have that yellow in there, you're going to clean the brush. So I'm just going to give you all a memento. Cut out there for a sec. We're still here. All right, we got a yellow moon, which could also be the sun. Thanks. Nice to see everybody back too. Gotta have that coffee. Who's a coffee drinker? Some people love it, some people hate it. So I've dabbed my brush in the bottom of the cup and I swirled it around, and now I've dried it off. I'm still going to use the same large brush. Okay, so this white should still be wet or mostly wet, and if it's not, it's fine. I'm going to start with blue now. So I'm going to take blue, and I'm going to actually make some purple for my background. I'm going to kind of go for like a night scene. So I will turn this into a night scene. Okay, so I have a little bit of blue on my brush. I'm going to put it somewhere on my plate. And then I'm going to take part of my red, blue, and red, stir it together so it's a little bit more on the blue side to get like more of a darker purple. Okay. Now I don't want to come near my yellow because purple and yellow will make like a browny orange color. So I'm just going to stay away from that moon by leaving a little bit of space in between. So maybe about a finger's worth. You're just going to kind of come around there. And we're going to sketch around the moon. Okay? There. This actually looks more like a blue. I might add a little bit of red. Sometimes when you put it onto the canvas, it changes color. I'm going to change that up a bit. There you go. I like this color better. I just added a little bit more red. It's totally your preference. It can be more of a navy blue too. Mine's kind of like a violet. move my easel to the left. Okay. You mean the right? Is this better? Thank you. Okay, so I just made up a little bit more of that purple because I'm going to be filling in more of a background area. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually draw it where I'm going to put a pumpkin. So I'm going to, again, from the bottom corner, I'm going to round out. This is going to be a pumpkin area. Okay, I'm going to have one big spooky pumpkin. Kind of just doing some sketching with my paintbrush at the moment. You're probably wondering, what the heck are we making? So just follow along, trust the process. Okay, so I'm going to also do a little bit of like a stem here. Because this is my pumpkin. Actually curve that in a bit. Nice thing about having this before the paint color is you can like change the shape a little bit. There we go. That's my pumpkin. That's my moon. Okay, so I'm going to get more color made up and we're going to fill in the rest of the background. So all in between here. So between the moon and the pumpkin, I'm just filling that all in with like a purpley blue color. It can be a little bit of both. You can get your sides of your canvas if you like as you go. I just won't right now, just in case when I pick it up, it might make a big mess. Okay. So I'm going to keep filling that in. If you see like white dots, you can tap on them. It kind of fills it into the canvas. So if you tap, that'll fill them in, and then you can blend them by doing this. And if you like the tap look, then that's awesome. You can keep tapping along and filling in that background with taps. It's all about having fun. There's no right or wrong. So I like to make mine nice and smooth. I like to just go on this over and over, as you see, because that just fills in all those little holes. And I like it to be like smooth, and that's just my preference. Just making up some more colors. So I'm doing my red and my blue, stirring that together. You might get something similar or a little different each time, and that's totally fine. The sky is always a little bit of different colors. So we're just filling in that background. Using the biggest brush. Whatever brush you got. Nice to see you too. Sort of. Yeah, so this month is a family painting right here. And then next month on November 3rd, I'll do more of an adult class. So just a little bit more detail oriented, okay? So again, any of the classes that I do live though are for anybody, any levels. It's just all about taking your time, and you can pause, that type of stuff. So yeah, it just feels good to get back. Claire is sleeping right now, but she might pop up here later. Hubby might bring her up to see everybody. Okay, so my background is like a purpley blue, and I love this color. I'm just kind of blending in any like chunky areas, any full like bumps, that type of stuff, and just smoothing it in. Oops. And you can get your edges, like I said. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, the sides. I'm just not going to do them right now. Sometimes I just paint them black later. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Feels good to get back on the lives here. So I want to do a class once a month is the goal again. I was doing that for like 3 years in a row. I did one free class each month. So all of those videos are still in my video section. So even if you weren't following me back then, you can just go back, scroll down and down and down, and you will find those videos and you can watch them at any time. I also do have a YouTube channel, Painting with Megan Fish. There is some videos on there. It's just been a little harder to upload them lately because I've been pretty busy, but I can try my best to get this uploaded again. Get some more videos going on there. There we go. Just kind of doing a little bit of a second coat on some spots if needed. Okay, so I think that looks good. All right, any questions so far? Hello. I'm going to clean that brush off, so I'm dipping it into the bottom of the cup. Whatever you got there. Stirring it around and drying it. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here to make this more of a night type of scene. I just wanted to have the yellow in the background. You'll see what I'm going to do to it now. Okay, so we're going to take this cleaned off brush, that's the big one still that I'm using, dipping into white, a fair bit of white on my brush here, and I'm just going to be tapping on the yellow. Okay, like that, just tapping. Looks like I have a little bit of blue still in my brush, but it actually doesn't look bad, so cool. Happy accidents. Yes, I love Bob Ross. I learned from watching his videos. I'm self-taught, so just watched him, learned from him. He's pretty cool. Yeah, so that actually looks pretty cool. So if you want to do this too, I'm just trying to bring it in closer. There's a little bit of like the blue that just didn't come off of my brush apparently when I was cleaning it. And when I tapped into my white, this came into my yellow. And I just tapped and it looks good. So I'm still going to be putting more and more layers onto that as we go along. Okay, so I'm cleaning off this brush again. So all I did with that moon is just tapped in white, just to kind of dim it down a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is get more white on my brush. Okay. And I'm going to be now right in between. So we have that yellow and this blue area here, or the purpley area, whatever color you got going on. You're now going to go on top. You're just going to go into one motion here and just swoop. Okay, so you're just going to swoop that curve like that to kind of give it a little bit of like a glow. Okay, down, kind of towards the pumpkin. Yeah, makes it look like it has a cool glow there. How's that? Just trying to move my... I don't have the greatest camera skills, so we'll get there. We'll get there. Creative, but technology, So I'm just going to do a little bit more white. I want there to be a little bit more of a glow. So I'm just wiping my brush on my napkin and dipping into more white, just to get a little bit more of like a nice glow here. And I'm trying not to over blend it. Like, I love to blend, so I'm just trying to loosely blend, which is just going like in that curved motion following my moon. Okay, I'll wipe it off on my napkin, get a little more white, and I'm going to go right up here. There, I'm just kind of one on the edge of my moon, a little bit into it. You know what? I've decided to now go all the way up here. Why not? I'm just in this blending mood. Just going with the flow. If you like yours, please just leave it if you would like. There. At the end, you guys will have to send me some pictures of what you've made. It's always fun to see. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to the pumpkin while that dries. I'm going to do a little bit more up there after. So I'm just cleaning off that brush again, using the big one. Okay, so I'm going to make some orange. So I'm going to use red and yellow. So I'm going to scoop of red, scoop of yellow, and I'm going to mix that together to make an orange. So I got yellow and red right here, stirring that up, make some orange. If you want it on the darker side like I'm doing, just put a little bit more of a red. If you want it brighter, you can do a little bit more of the yellow. I'm kind of going for like a middle tone. So now this part, if it's like mostly dry, that's fine. Maybe just rub your finger on there just to get out some of the excess paint that might be hanging out on the edge of your pumpkin. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to fill in this pumpkin area with my orange. We're going to put a base layer. Anybody been to the pumpkin patch yet? I love doing that in the fall. There we go. I'm going to make up more color already. I ran out. I find with mixing, you want to try to scoop bigger amounts so then you don't have to keep going back to mix more. But if you do, I mean, it's always good practice, so it's not a bad thing. I'm just going to tap a little bit into some of these holes. There we go. How's it going so far? Any questions? Just doing down here. We're going to make some brown next. There. It's so sunny here. Have like a YouTube fall vibes in the background there. Okay, so to make brown, we already have orange. So all you're going to do to make brown is you're going to add a little bit of blue into that, so you don't have to clean your brush. You can just stir it right into your orange. So I got a green, so if the green happens, take a little bit more red, stir that in, and then you'll get more of a brown. I find that the reds really help the brown to come out. Or you can just mix a bunch of colors together. Because I found when, kindergarten, you just mix colors together and you get like a brown. But really, brown is using all three primary colors. So yellow, red, and blue to make brown. But I had that orange that we just made from the pumpkin. And then I added in just a little bit of blue. And like I said, if your brown is more of the green side, then just take a little bit more red and stir that in to make more of a brown. So that's my brown shade right there. Okay, so I'm going to put this onto my stem. So you can get a little brush out for this part if you would like. I'm just going to keep using this brush. Okay, so I'm filling that in. Might actually go to a small brush in a moment. Okay, so now to make it a little bit more of like 3D, instead of just sitting on top, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a curve right here, just to make it look like it's now sitting on the top and kind of into the pumpkin versus on it, on the very top, because the stem is of course connected to the pumpkin and it's like part of it, right? It's inside of it. So we're making it 3D is what we're trying to do here. And if you tap, sometimes it helps it come on a little bit thicker as well. So if you find it's just like transparent or something, just tap a little bit on there and that'll help. Okay, so I'm definitely going to go to my smaller brush now. So just put that big brush in the water. I'm going to grab something smaller. And I'm going to get my brown on my brush again, which I might have to make up a little bit more brown. So I always start by making orange, so red and yellow. And then I just add like a little bit of blue and usually a little more red to give it back that brown tone again. Okay, so I got brown on that little brush. So now what I want to do with my pumpkin is kind of hold it a little closer. It's getting a little bright, so I might like turn. There, how's that? Like I said in the beginning, I don't have my blinds back up yet from our renovations because we went from doing crazy renos to then having a baby. So, okay, so I have brown on my brush here, and now I'm going to outline my pumpkin just to give it a nice texture here. We're going to start adding in a little more details. And if your paint's like drying out on your plate or your palette, whatever you're using to put your paint on, just add a little bit of water into your brown, but on the plate. Like, don't put the water directly onto here because then you're just going to get drips everywhere. So just always with adding water, just put it into your paint. Okay, so I've just outlined that pumpkin. Now I want to give it some like pumpkin lines. So I'm going to be doing like curves to kind of match. So I have curves here. So you're going to want to follow your curves. What I mean by that is just swooping down and giving curves. Kind of think of it like maybe like spider legs, right? Where it's like a curve and then you're going to go straightish. And you're going to start to curve again. And then curve again over here. Or like when you open an umbrella. It's interesting to describe things sometimes, eh? I'm just kind of touching up in this a little bit. To my stem. And I always like to tap if, like I said, if I want it to stand out a little bit more. So there's my pumpkin. Thinking you could add a face if you would like. Maybe let it dry. You can go back to that. I'm going to take a little bit of orange again on my brush. So I'm just cleaning off my little brush and just using orange. Maybe I'll make like a brighter orange now. So more on the yellow side versus the reddish side. Or whatever pumpkin color you like. You can add white to it too. And you can make it a little brighter. So I just mixed red, a little bit of red, more yellow, and a little bit of white to kind of make this like more of a brighter orange. I don't want to cover up all of my darker orange. So basically here, if you have a light orange already, make a darker orange by adding a little more red. But if you have a darker orange here like me with my pumpkin, then add a little bit more of this lighter color, which is more yellow, red, and white. So I'm just going to add in just a little bit. I'm just kind of tapping. I want to be able to tell there's different color here. So looks like that's not quite showing up. So I'm going to add a little more white to it. And I'm just trying to give a little bit of like, just near the tops, because we have this big bright moon here and it's going to shine down on this pumpkin and make it bright. So I'm tapping that because this is so wet. If I went like this and blended it, then it would just tone in. But if I tap, it helps it to stand out a little bit better. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit on like the edges of the pumpkin as well. Kind of just at the top of the stem and down the stem on one side. You can kind of blend that there just a little bit. Ooh. Looks so cool. Okay, so I'll just kind of hold that there for you guys. I'm just going to change this ad again. Keeps coming back. Okay, so kind of zoom in so you can see some of the detail a little bit there. There's that bright sun moon. We're going to make it more of a moon. Okay. And then that was super sunny there. Can tell I haven't been on live in a while. A little rusty. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm just cleaning off that big brush again. Maybe I will even use some finger painting. I'm going to go back to the moon now. So if you want, if you feel comfortable, you can do some finger painting on the moon. Just get out some white. If not, you can just use a brush. I just find this helps it stand out way more. So I'm just tapping on top of this. I want to still leave some of the yellow, but I just wanted to make it more of a white tone. And I mean, if you like the yellow, by all means, you don't have to do this part. There's no right or wrongs. Just all about your preference. Okay, so just tap on there. I'm kind of doing it more random, spontaneous. As you can see, I'm leaving some gaps for the yellow to come through and shine through here. I'm not completely covering it, and I'm just using white on my finger. And just tapping around. make some craters, basically, you can think of it as. Maybe it's a night scene, maybe it's a daytime scene, right? Who knows? Art is art. Okay, so I'm out. I'm going to be a little brave here, and I'm going to dip my finger into a tad of black and a little bit of white, just stirring it around to make like a light gray. Okay, so I made like a light gray here, just a little bit of black, mostly white, and I'm going to add in a bit on here, okay? And I'm going to blend that in as I tap along, okay? You can also use a brush to blend it in. Yeah, I think that looks so cool. I like this, the yellow and the gray with the white. Sweet. So much fun to finger paint. I just find this makes it way more like textured looking, and I find it blends way easier too. Especially if something is wet underneath, like the white. The finger painting really works for this. And it's kind of like signing your work with your own fingerprint. Yeah, I think that looks so cool. So anywhere like, you know, you're like, oh, it's too dark, too bold for me, like just take some yellow and white and go back on it, or just some direct white, all right? And you can just tap on top of it again. Ooh la la, love it. Can't wait to see your guys's. It's good to compliment yourself as you go along, so be positive. There's always something cool to see in your own art, okay? No one's here is ever going to be the same. So just have fun. I'm just getting a little bit more gray on my finger. And I'm going to put some, let's see. I'm going to make a ghost. Okay, no, I'm thinking about it. I will make a ghost. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. I'm just letting my ideas come. I'm going to put it on the edge of the moon. A little bit of gray here. Gray and white, mostly white. Just to give it a little bit more of a blended look on the edge of the moon, where it kind of meets that like brighter part. Maybe you already have a spot there you like and you don't have to do it. Yeah, okay, that looks cool. All right, so you can just wipe your finger on a napkin or something. So I'm gonna go back to a small brush, and I'm thinking I'll make a ghost. So dipping into the water here, got my cleaned off brush, and I'm going to dip into white, and I'm gonna think here, where do I wanna put a ghost? So you can put it anywhere you like. I'm thinking mine's gonna be popping kind of out of the side here. So it's coming in, let's see, maybe he's gonna like have a little head and like a little like curve down here. Just let my hand kind of tell me where this ghost wants to be. And then just kind of tap it in here and blend it in. It should be nice and dry here, so you shouldn't have to worry about too much blue or purple coming through. A tad of that coming through is totally perfect, because then it gives it an automatic shadow, which you want. So that's good. But if you find it's too transparent, maybe just get a little more paint or tap it in there, because tapping helps. Okay, that's like the bottom of the ghost. These ads, so fun. I mean, it's not too bad for YouTube. No ghost. Yeah, you don't have to do a ghost if you don't want to. Totally optional. Okay, so I'm gonna just turn it so I can like see it from a different perspective. Sometimes you gotta like hold things back, maybe turn it in a different direction just so you can see where you're at. I'm going to make the head just a little bit bigger on mine, now that I kind of did that. And then I'm going to use the back of my brush, and I'm going to dip into black, and I'm going to make my eyeballs and a little face. Cute. and just wipe off the black so you can get it on yourself. Okay, so it looks like Claire's awake. I'll bring her on the camera for a second here. Oh no, I paint hands. I mean, she'll eventually get covered in paint. Hi, baby. You want to say hi? This is Claire. She was born back in July. She's 11 weeks old today. Hi. Mama's doing a paint class. Yeah, sometime you'll paint too with me. She's like, what's happening here? Love you, baby boo. See you soon, honey. Aw, she's so cute. Love her. I'm so happy that you guys got to see her. Alright. Boom. You know what? I'm not loving this like curve part at the bottom of my ghost. You know, sometimes things change. So I'm going to tip into my purpley color again. If you still have it, you might have to make it again. Whatever your background color is. If you want to adjust something, you can, right? You don't have to do what I'm doing here. I'm just going to adjust this part. I don't really like that curve part. So now that to me makes more sense. Okay, so I'm just kind of taking this color and just kind of brushing around a little bit now because it won't be as blended. But if I do like a dry brush kind of look here, it gives it like a bit of like a abstractness to it. It's kind of making it like maybe like fog, you know? See how that gives it like a textury look? It kind of matches the moon too. I'm just staying away from this bright area. I'll do some down here. Why not? Just trying different techniques. Blending it in. Kind of like tapping and circling. There we go. So cool. So it's kind of made it more spooky. So, how's everybody doing so far? Okay, so I'm thinking what I want to do now is just maybe add a couple like leaves at the bottom. I don't want to overdo it too much. Especially if you're using a smaller canvas like me. So I'm just cleaning off a small brush here. And I'm gonna just get some white just to kind of draw it where I want some leaves to be, okay? So maybe it's like a really windy night and there's some leaves falling. So, oh, maybe they're on the ground. So leaves are basically just like these little like teardrop shapes, right? Maybe it's like little leaves that fell. Just kind of make them wherever you like. We're just floating around here. We're going to be filling these in with white, but then we'll add our fall colors to it. Let's try to do it lightly on there, just so the colors have somewhere to stick. Try not to make this too thick, even if you still see some of the background color coming through. Just because it'll just take longer to cover up if you have it too thick here. So if you're not sure if it's too thick, you'll just see like clumps or like it might not be as transparent, then you know it's a little thicker. So just try to make it a little bit thinner. Maybe I'll do leaves, maybe a couple like up here. They're just kind of falling. Just making like basically like teardrop shapes or eyeball shapes. Maybe they're eyeballs. You can just have fun with it. While I have some white here, I'm just gonna like add a little bit more of a white kind of like swishes around here just to make it a little bit brighter. Just really rolling with it tonight or today. We're all in different parts of the world here. It's all about just going with that creative flow. Maybe you have ideas that you want to add in. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I'm just cleaning off my brush. I'm gonna take some red, add it into my brown that you might still have. I'm just making it more of like a reddish brown. Okay, and I'm gonna go down here because these ones are probably more dry. And I'm just going to add in some colors here. So I made this more of like a reddish brown. We'll add some detail in once we get some background color into the leaves. Maybe they're just blown around. I love seeing the trees change this time of year. It's just so pretty. Maybe now I'll add some brighter orange. I have some still on my palette. Just think fall colors. I wouldn't go direct yellow because yellow is definitely not going to stand out as much. But if you use some of these, like kind of like a light orange, add more yellow into it if you like, or just red, then it starts to show up a little bit easier. Okay, see how that's jazzing it up? Maybe I'll use some direct red. I don't usually clean my brush when using these kind of colors just because they're similar. So you don't really need to clean your brush. You can just dip into some of your fall colors. So far I've used like brown that I added red to, some more of like that lighter orange. You can use just orange, just red, or even brown as like those fall colors. Maybe I'll do a lighter one up here. There. And basically in the leaves, I want to like add just a little bit to them. So I'm going to see what it looks like with a little bit of black and brown. Just go ahead and watch this part and you can decide, okay? So I'm just going to use this one and I'm going to use I used black, a little bit of black and some brown. Just want to have like a smaller brush here for this so you can add just a little bit of the leaf lines into them. It's very optional just because it might be tricky if you have like a smaller leaf. Even if it's a different color, just something to give it a little bit more detail. Just think abstract, think just those leaf lines. Basically outlining and then drawing a line in the middle of the leaf and then doing like a little like curve, right? Just like that. You could even use like a brighter color if you want. Maybe I'll outline this red one. Oh, I love fall. Maybe I'll do half of this leaf reddish. As long as you have like maybe like multicolor in the leaves, I find it just makes them look more realistic. Or they can be singular. Maybe you guys have thought of an idea to add into this. Sometimes people come up with ideas and it's just fun to see, so please share them with me. I love just going with the flow with my art. It's the best way to create. I'm just adding in different colors on top. Very kind of thick, just to give it some different tones, right? Any questions, let me know. I'm thinking for another, maybe like the last step, because I don't want to overdo it. I'm thinking of using just a little bit of white and yellow on the back of my brush, and just to make some stars here. So let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, I like it. Remember, all of this is optional. If there's something that you see that maybe you want to add, I'm just going with the flow here. There, I love that. The stars really make it come together. Super cute. It's up to you how many stars. Maybe you have space for more ghosts. Maybe there's a grave. Maybe there's another pumpkin. Right? There's so many possibilities to this. This is just like a base, and then the world, you know, as they say, the sky is the limit, right? You can just add whatever you like, but sometimes what you can do too is just maybe take a step back and just view it from a different angle, because sometimes you don't want to like overdo it, and looking back at it at a distance just gives you a moment to like reflect on that and see how you're doing so far, right? And just remember just to have fun and go with the flow. So the next live I'm going to do is on November the 3rd. I'll make up an event and a flyer for that so you guys can see. And again, it's for all levels, but I'm going to base it towards adults, so just be a little bit more detailed. And it's going to be more winter themed, okay? So yeah, I don't think I'm going to add anything else to this, just because I don't want to overwork it. The only thing that maybe like that I would add, I'm thinking, is maybe like could add like a branch or something to attach the leaves, because I'm thinking it's windy out here, but maybe if there's a branch. So sometimes I said I was done, but you know, sometimes you get into it again. I'm just gonna see what a branch looks like. So that one's attaching to there, and then the ghost can be like behind there. That looks cool. So now the ghost is like behind this branch. I did like a black with brown. Looks more on the black side. This is optional too. Like, I'm just showing you stuff and then you guys can decide. I'm gonna actually plant this right down here. See what I mean with going with the flow? I took a step back. I looked at it through my camera perspective, because I'm looking at this here and decided I want a tree here. So that's more of like a black with some brown in it. But yeah, I really like that. You can always add more leaves if you want. Maybe these ones just fell to the ground. We'll just make the base of the tree just a little bit bigger, and it's just on top of the pumpkin a bit. Now that puts the pumpkin behind the tree. Cute. Why not just plant this right to the top? Let's make that go right to the top. Cool. I might add just one more leaf, just to balance it out a little bit. Multicolored leaves. Let's see, maybe I'll do a leaf up here. So always adding a little bit of white into it first, just because. Maybe another little one there and there. Yeah. And then I'll maybe add like a little bit of red into that. Sorry about that. Another ad. I don't have a YouTube monthly thing that I pay for. Just use it. I added just a couple of little leaves just to bring some balance. Just kind of picking colors. Some reds, some oranges. Cool. I'm just taking a look back at it. Add a little bit more to this one. Maybe another one right there. Yeah, this looks so cool. I just had a base idea when I came on here, and it's just so fun to see what it ended up being. So thank you so much for joining me today. I think I'm done because I'm gonna overdo it if I keep going. So yeah, please share with me your art when you are done. You can send it to me privately. You can send it in a comment under this video that will be uploaded and ready for you anytime you want to view it. And I'm just so thankful to be on here today to paint with you, whether it's live with me or later on. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend and a happy Thanksgiving coming up next weekend in Canada anyways. And yeah, So I'll see you again on November the 3rd will be my next class that I'm going to do. All right. Bye for now, everyone. Take care.